Daito was an old Zen monk who had mastered the art of calligraphy. He lived a simple life in a small temple on a hill overlooking a quiet village. Each day he would rise early and meditate facing the morning sun. Then he would take up his brush and ink stone to practice calligraphy. The swooping motions of his brush along the rice paper brought him a deep sense of serenity. In the village below lived a young man named Haku, who longed to study with the renowned calligraphy master. One day he gathered his courage and climbed the steep hill to ask Daito to accept him as a student. When Haku arrived at the temple, he found Daito sitting in meditation. Not wanting to disturb the old monk, Haku waited silently. Hours passed until finally Daito opened his eyes. Haku prostrated himself and made his request to become Daito's student. Daito looked at him and said, "To study calligraphy, one must first study the self. Come back in 1 year, and I will consider teaching you." Haku was crestfallen but resolved to return in a year as Daito had instructed. Haku left the temple and returned to his village. Each day he contemplated Daito's words. To study calligraphy, one must first study the self. He began observing his mind and emotions, taking note of his reactions to events around him. At first this was difficult, but slowly Haku was able to detach himself from his own judgments. As the seasons changed, Haku's mind became still, like the tranquil surface of a lake. When a year had passed, Haku returned to Daito's temple. This time when Haku met Daito, the old monk handed him a brush and said, "Show me what you have learned about yourself." Haku sat down with the brush and inkstone without hesitation. His mind was clear and focused. As the ink flowed from the tip of the brush, Haku felt a profound shift within himself. In that moment, he transcended his individual being and became one with the flowing ink. When Haku finally laid down the brush, he turned to see Daito smiling at him. No words were exchanged, but in that instant, Haku recognized that calligraphy was not just skill, but a melding of body, mind, and spirit. Daito nodded, seeing the realization in Haku's eyes. From that day onward, Haku stayed by Daito's side as student and eventual successor, mastering the contemplative art of calligraphy. This is Narrative Dreamscape. Thanks for watching.